welcome to Falcon News. I'm your anchor, Seth, and this is my co-host, Yash Kumar. Today we will have two impactful and relevant stories that will prompt lots of discussion and speculation.
Stay tuned for these segments. Alex Korb is a member of Rochester High School's BPA Economic Research Team. In their first year working together, this powerhouse group qualified for the National Leadership Conference after finishing first at both their state and regional conferences.
Let's check in on Alex and how his teammates prepared for their event.
Throughout the year, we had multiple disputes, and it came down to differences of opinion on certain things. And honestly, I think the way we got through them was knowing that we all have different strengths. And we had certain people that were extremely good at writing and certain people that were extremely good at making things understandable. And we kind of, throughout the year, got better understanding each other's strengths and listening to a person that had that strength. And that's how we kind of settled disputes in the end. Well, we all know Rome wasn't built in a day, and there's a lot of blood, sweat, and tears that go into successful team events. And honestly, the most memorable for me is just the late nights working with the group. I think there was a lot of bonding that happened and a lot of productive time that came out of it, but it was really memorable.
We now understand how to prepare for a team event, but how does it feel when all of the burden lies on your shoulders?
Let's change directions and look at Jade Kim, who qualified for nationals in extemporaneous speech.
So in extemporaneous speech, you receive your topic and then you have about 10 minutes to prepare for your presentation. Obviously this can create a lot of nerves as you're nervous about stumbling over what you're going to say because you haven't had too long to practice. What I do to help this is to get in the habit of writing out what I'm going to say as quick as possible and using the remaining time to prepare. They say you only have 10 minutes to prepare on the rubric, but in reality there's a little bit of a waiting time that you can use to practice out loud, and that generally helps a lot with stumbling during speeches. In my event, one of the hardest things is getting random topics thrown at you and not potentially knowing how to answer them properly. In that case, the best way is to just practice as much as possible. With anything, practice makes you better. Practice may not make you perfect, but it can get you to a certain point. And just understanding the area, the topic of the questions they're going to ask you helps a lot. So practicing a lot with business-related topics and BPA-related topics and so on.
That was some fascinating insight there from Alex and Jade.
We would like to thank them for sacrificing their valuable preparation time and sitting down and chatting with us about how they prepared for their event. However, the problems competitors face when they're preparing their perfect speech or their presentation are nothing compared to what society is facing today with Juul, the controversial e-cigarette.
James Monsees and Adam Bowen co-founded Juul in 2015 when they became dissatisfied with the health and social ramifications of cigarettes. When they realized that there were no acceptable alternatives on the market, they decided to create their own nicotine-based e-cigarette, which became the original Juul.
That's right, Yash. And now, Juul is worth over $10 billion. High schoolers have taken an affinity to Juuling, with pods coming in 8 flavors such as mango and cucumber. With the rise in Juuling among the youth, the co-founders have reiterated that it's only made for smokers and not minors or non-nicotine users.
Facing mounting government pressure from the FDA and public backlash over what is being labeled an epidemic, Juul has announced that they are only going to sell their most popular flavors online, where a social security number will be required to purchase them.
The mango, fruity, cucumber, and cream flavors account for 45% of all Juul sales, but this is a measure the company had to take to avoid a ban from the FDA. Let's check in with our field reporter Viraj Lunani for more details on the situation.
Thanks, Tage. We're here at a local vape shop where it's clear that this ban is having far greater impact than simply taking flavored Juul pods off the shelves. Shop owners have much stricter rules as to who can enter and who can purchase their product, which really begs the question, will this ban have impact on shop sales across the country? That's been Falcon News Live. Back to you guys.
Huge thanks to our field reporter for getting the inside scoop.
And as always, I'm Tage.
And I'm Yash. Signing off, it's Falcon News.